We are going to talk about planning in a low interest rate environment, and in particular, how to take advantage of the fact that asset values have fallen, valuation discounts have risen, and interest rates are at an all-time low. And it's the confluence of these three factors that should be motivating us to help our clients understand the planning opportunities they have to transfer assets from one generation to the next and from one generation to the community. We're going to talk about these three factors as they are applied by various estate planning techniques, including a sale to an intentionally defective grantor trust and how much better that works in a low interest rate environment, including two different flavors of GRATs, grantor retained annuity trusts, and how much more effective a GRAT works in a low interest rate environment. We're even going to talk about qualified personal residence trusts, which we all know work much better in a high interest rate environment, but we're going to explore how much less effective they really are in a low interest rate environment. And finally, but not least importantly, we're going to talk about charitable lead trusts and how important it is to consider using those techniques in this environment, not just for the math and tax, but also for the good that we can do in the community. And it's important to note, it's really important to note, that the math and the tax applicable to a CLT is exactly the same as the math for a GRAT. And so we can see by looking at our table how much more effective is the GRAT technique in this environment. The same holds true for the charitable lead trust. And we all know that clients can only leave their assets to one of three places. They can leave them to their family, they can leave them to the community, or they can leave them to Uncle Sam. It makes no sense to leave assets to Uncle Sam when you have a perfectly viable alternative, leaving those assets to the community through a charitable lead trust, which is extremely effective. Now, I think personally that it's a no-brainer in the largest estates to create a testamentary charitable lead trust, an extremely powerful technique that can reduce the estate tax literally down to zero, and at the same time, move those assets sideways into the community and accomplish a wonderful goal for everybody. And at the end of the charitable lead trust term, of course, the assets that are remaining go back to the family. What we're really doing is, instead of paying the tax, we're transferring those dollars to the community. And at the end of the day, the family gets what's left. An extremely powerful technique. But the testamentary charitable lead trust doesn't necessarily take advantage of today's low interest rates because we don't know what the interest rates are going to be at death. We do know that the interest rates today are at an all-time low, and consequently it's incumbent upon us to focus our efforts on helping our clients understand the opportunity available to them, not only for their family but for the community as well. And we'll talk about all of these things in more depth for the rest of the morning.